The strange sound, which has never been heard before, frightened people and animals terribly. The Chinese figured that if it scared living creatures so much, it would probably scare away the spirits, particularly an evil spirit called Mayan, who believed to eat crops and people. After that, it became customary for them to throw green bamboo into fires on Lunar New Year in order to scare Mayan and other spirits following, thus ensuring happiness and prosperity to those people for the remainder of the year. Soon, the Chinese were able to use bursting bamboo for other special occasions such as weddings, coronations, and births. Bursting bamboo, or Hai Chut, as the Chinese call it, continued to be used for the next 1,000 years or so. Across the world in Europe. One of these fires actually brought back some of the Chinese firecrackers and gave them a larger vision. A monk and lecturer at Oxford University. They can become one of the first Europeans to study gunpowder and light it up. He knew that saltpeter was the driving force for the purifying rays of firecrackers, and discovered a way of purifying the natural mineral avocados to make a more powerful gunpowder. He realized the potential of the substance to revolutionize warfare and cause many deaths, so he wrote and found his book. Only 1 year after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The United States was still in the midst of the Revolutionary War, and the outcome was still uncertain, but beautiful displays of fireworks instilled a sense and hope of patriotism in the citizens of the young nation. When trade relations were established between the U.S. and China, less than a century later, Chinese firecrackers became a major import into the world. The Italians have been fascinated with fireworks ever since a new explorer, Marco Polo, had brought back firecrackers from Orient in 1294. During the Renaissance in Europe, 1400 to 1500, the Italians began to develop fireworks into a true art form. Since this was a period of artistic creativity and expression, many new fireworks were created for the first time. Military rockets could have been modified by adding powdered metals and charcoal in order to create bursts of gold and silver sparks in the sky. The Italians were able to develop aerial shells, canisters of explosive composition that were launched into the sky and exploded at the maximum altitude. The Chinese also developed shells that were spherical in shape.
If you're going to blow your fingers off with fireworks, you should at least know why it happened. Anthony here for D-News, and it's the 4th of July, which here in the US means we will be igniting various chemical explosive compounds in celebration of our freedom. And also because fireworks are rad. But what's actually in them, and how can we control the explosions to look like specific shapes? Well, the recipe for firecrackers has remained pretty consistent since their invention in the 7th century. It's basically just gunpowder or flash powder wrapped in paper with a fuse. Chemically, it perfectly shows off two of the main components of all fireworks, a fuel and an oxidizer. In this case, charcoal and potassium nitrate. Potassium nitrate releases oxygen when heated that combines with the carbon in the charcoal. It also creates nitrogen gas. The expansion of the nitrogen and the carbon dioxide puts pressure on the container and boom. Sparklers also use potassium nitrate as an oxidizer and charcoal or sulfur as your fuel, but those get dumped into water along with sugar or starch, basically making a sort of chemical paste to put on the stick of the sparkler. Those are the binders that hold the paste together. And then the final ingredient in our explosive soup is some sort of iron or steel or magnesium dust. And those metal flakes get heated to the point of turning incandescent. That is where sparkler colors come from. That's also why your mother was deathly afraid of giving you a sparkler, because you are basically running around with hot metal shavings flying towards your tiny child eyeballs. And now the good stuff, the rockets and the aerial shells that you see in huge displays. So these contain all the stuff we've seen before and then some. The container itself is called the shell, and inside it's filled with gunpowder and these little pea-sized spheres called stars, and each star is pretty much a sparkler. Now traditionally, the shells get placed into a mortar, a tube or a pipe with gunpowder at the bottom. You light the powder, and that simultaneously lights the shell's fuse and launches it into the air. The fuse burns, hits a charge in the middle of the shell, which ignites and then hits the gunpowder. Gunpowder ignites the stars, and ooh, ah. Shells can have different compartments in them with different sorts of stars. Those are called multi-break shells, and they allow for different colors or shapes throughout the launch. So if you place shells in a specific layer in a specific shape, they will create the same shape when they ignite. And that's how you get things like cubes and smiley faces and that stuff.
Hello, sir. Thanks for meeting with us today. Could you please tell me a little bit about yourself and your name?
I'm Thomas Ranger. I'm in the military.
Okay, what is your experience with fireworks?
I love bombing the crap out of those fudge whackers and winning the war.
Okay, what are your views on fireworks in today's society? Are they detrimental or are they good?
Good. They're the best thing in the whole world.
Why is that, sir?
Because I like to explode stuff.
Okay, do you feel, though, that in teenagers' hands, fireworks could be a bad thing?
No.
Okay. So you think fireworks are perfectly harmless, they're good for society, and nothing bad can come of them?
Yes.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers or anything?
Go US!
I'll never forget what this hospital did do for me. It will always mean a lot to me. It just really makes a difference. It's hard coming back, but it's also special.
College student Helena Wood had a serious accident when she was 7. It was a time of year that all young people should have fun memories of, not nightmares.
I don't really remember much other than the fact that suddenly there was mud in my mouth and in my hair and my face, and then I saw an ambulance and my dad started saying something, but I couldn't really hear anything. 10 years ago, I was badly burnt by a firework. I had to go through several operations, including a skin graft, where they took skin off my thigh and put it on my shoulder. I had to have loads of dressing changes and lots of pain. 7% of my body, mainly my shoulder, and up behind my ear, had full thickness burns, so it had burnt right down through the nerves, straight to the bone.
Helena's injuries were treated by some of the country's leading burn specialists at the world-famous Queen Victoria Hospital in East Grinstead. This is the South East's premier reconstructive plastic surgery centre. Helena has returned to the hospital to visit the plastic surgeons and to make her video helping people to understand fireworks danger.
You probably noticed that the scars were quite red and raised right at the beginning, and they've clearly settled down and made for a much flatter, more natural looking appearance now.
The consultant is updating Helena on her scarring.
Firework injuries often cause quite deep burns. They tend to affect, commonly, the face, the chest and the hands because those are the exposed areas that we've got. And especially around the face, where there are so many important organs such as the eyes, around the mouth, they can have quite devastating effects.
Although Helena was injured by a rogue firework at a public display 10 years ago, it was a freak accident that shows just how dangerous fireworks are. Organised displays remain the safest way to see fireworks. Because Helena wants all young people to understand the dangers, she's now publicly backing the Kent Police Safer Autumn campaign.
Well, Helena's clearly a very spirited young woman for telling us about their injuries. We want everyone to enjoy fireworks. What we don't want is for people to be injured. Please look at the Kent Police website for good advice on fireworks and follow the firework code.
Helena, what's your message about fireworks to other young people?
I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. I was lucky, but you might not be so fortunate. Enjoy the fireworks, but be safe.
Sally Hansen, and I work at the Boom Boom Fireworks Shack in Alaska.
Okay. So you're very experienced with fireworks, you would say, right?
Yes.
How long have you been working with fireworks?
About 13 years.
Wow, that's a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So, do you think fireworks are a good thing in today's society?
Fireworks are the best thing because you can just blow about anything up with fireworks.
Okay, like what would you need to blow up?
You could blow up like houses, plants, cars, mailboxes, the person you don't like.
Some seriously. The fireworks went out of control and it was caught on camera. Allie Lanyon's in Palmyra right now. Allie.
Alicia, the state police fire marshal was here on the scene investigating this morning. He said he found nothing criminal or illegal, instead describing this as a tragic freak accident, a family celebration that somehow sent 11 people to the hospital.
Oh my God!
18-year-old Bonnie Miller says she never saw it coming.
All I remember is a blinding flash of light and me running around saying I'm hit.
An out-of-control firework at the middle school stadium burned her leg, hand, arm, stomach, and perforated her eardrum.
It was pretty scary. I mean, I'm not going to lie about that. It was very scary. It was kind of overwhelming.
Bonnie's boyfriend, 17-year-old Tyler Weaver, was also burned badly on his leg.
They should have been further back.
His stepfather says Tyler will need skin grafts. He was taken to the Lehigh Valley Burn Unit.
No, he's a good kid. He's real athletic. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to really see what happens and take it day by day.
State police investigators say one firework malfunctioned, exploding in its tube. It then knocked over other explosives, causing them to fire into the crowd.
It's a tragic event. I mean, no one ever intends for anything in a celebration to go wrong. Accidents unfortunately happen.
Johnette Wells took this video of the accident on her cell phone.
People were screaming and you could just tell everybody was scared. Everybody knew something wasn't right, but didn't know exactly what had gone wrong, and didn't know at that point whether people were hurt.
Then you just heard these screams and you just look and you see everything coming at you.
While many people feel the fireworks were set up too close to spectators, Bonnie says she's not upset that accidents sometimes happen.
Honestly, we could very well not be here right now.
Oh my God!
I'm just happy and lucky.
And the company involved in the show was Schaefer Pyrotechnics out of Bronx. A person that answered the phone there this morning said that company officials would not be commenting. She did, however, say that one of their workers was among the injured. That man was treated at a hospital and released. As of early this afternoon, Palmyra police said there were only 2 of the 11 people injured that remain hospitalized. We are told that Tyler Weaver will undergo surgery for skin grafts to his legs tomorrow in Allentown. Back to you.
Allie, that video is just unbelievable. I mean, that really helps us tell the story of what happened to these folks in Palmyra. And again, this was Palmyra's fireworks display, and they hired this outside company to handle it for them, right?
Right, and from what I understand, Palmyra usually does not have a fireworks display. This was part of a celebration, the 250th anniversary of the borough. So obviously not the way that they were hoping that this would turn out. I understand that borough officials are just devastated with, what happened here last night.
Hi, I'm David Hunter with Expert Village. Today we're going to be talking about fireworks, the different types, and safety tips. Now we're going to move up just a little bit more in your line of fireworks to what we call the multi-items. A multi-item, or cake as we call them, consists of comets, mines, spinners, color, smoke, all traditional things you would find in your celebration needs for your display. This particular item is from Black Cat. It would run in retail anywhere from around $15.95 to $22.95, depending on your distributor, your dealer, your store. Always shop around for the right prices and check prices. Make sure you check 2 or 3 locations before you actually buy. One of the reasons that we know this is a newer item is because of the new safety fuses. The new safety fuses that come with these are usually yellow in color, and many of them glow after dark to where you can see them. But this helps you to identify that the item has a fuse on the side when lighting in the dark. That way you don't have to stumble with a flashlight or something like that. But this item here, what you simply do is you take it and peel away the cap, and it peels right off, and there's your fuse. What you need to do, we've checked, there's no power lines above us. We have moved to the backyard because where we were shooting our fireworks from before in the driveway, we need a little bit more space between us and the houses and the cars and, of course, our people watching the fireworks. So we've chosen the backyard. We found a board to set this on, simply because you do not want to set the item on the grass, because if you can see here, if you set it on the grass, it's real easy to tumble back and forth. And of course, when the first shot comes out, it will tip over. That's one of the do's and don'ts that you don't want to do, because this item then when it tips over, it's going to shoot in a direction usually you don't want it to shoot in. That's the very simple reason you want to take it and put it on a good flat surface like concrete or a board, and that way push down on it, make sure that it's rocked back and forth very easy. And once you've established that and all people are away from your area, you take your puck stick, hold it down, light your fuse, and get away. Another thing you might want to make sure is, even though you think all the cylinders have fired, always approach this firework with extreme caution. Never, ever, whether it's lit or not, stand over a firework. Always go up to the side of the firework, turn your body away from it, and you're sure that they went off. Take your foot, tilt the item over, away from you and away from your spectators.